So, coronavirus. Hello there, Mr. Salas here. So this is my first video in English. I didn't really want it to be like something this sad, I think, but I believe it's quite important. I think it's really important to have another perspective, like a person who's not British, who lives here in Europe, specifically in the UK, which is what I'm gonna be talking about. So I've been working here for 6 months now as a foreign language teacher, specifically Spanish. I'm from Mexico, and I really wanted to make a video for the longest time about just living here and like things I've been up to and what I have been doing, like stuff I have been learning. But now it's gonna be a different type of video, and I'm doing this video in English because I really want to give it the most exposure possible, especially with people in Europe who might be interested in learning my take on it, or like what I think about it, what's happening with just what I read, what I get fed basically. And well, that's basically what it's gonna be my take on the whole thing. I really wanted to make a video for the longest time, and it's really sad to start with this topic, but I think it's quite important to mention, especially because in Mexico it's just a joke. It's just like people are making fun of it, like if it's nothing. And in the meantime, people are dying in Italy. Today is March the 13th, 2020, and it's to this day there is no lockdown, there is no quarantine or anything, so nothing is really happening here. I live in London specifically, and there's nothing here. Like, actually, I just read something about how apparently the Prime Minister say something about the like around 10,000 people being infected with the virus or something. But still, there's no measures against it. Like, nothing is happening really, which is really odd. As in, like, oh well, we'll just kind of gonna let it fly. It's really weird. As a language professor here in London, I'm obviously working with people all the time. I'm working from Monday to Friday with classes. My classes are about, I would say like 20 students, 25 tops students in one classroom. It's a university, and I think nobody is really worried about it. I have had some students from Spain and Italy though. They have been eager to go home. Like, they have been telling me, oh, you know what, I really need to go now. Could we do the exam this week or next week so I can actually go before the whole country is in lockdown, which is crazy. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I was planning my trip to Germany or something. I really wanted to travel around. And now it's like, oh, just the country's in lockdown. It's really, really crazy how fast this has spread it. It is a virus after all, so I kind of get it. So at my university, there have been some, like measures taken, as in, like the common wash your hands and don't go to places which are crowded. If you feel sick, you can actually ask uni to like just stay at home, which is okay. That's fine. So my time here has been great. I've been enjoying it a lot. And it's really sad that it's like for the last months I'll be here, it's gonna be about the coronavirus stuff. So I think it's really telling how students here are a little bit more cautious, like, because like for instance, the whole thing with Italy. I actually have one of my colleagues here that works with me here at uni. It's Italian, and she told me how like Italy took it really, really. They were really laid back about the whole thing. It's like, oh, well, it's just like the flu. Like, the flu kills more people per year. And now it's like, it got out of control. So she fears that the same may happen in London because Italy had, like, the same attitude. This is what she told me, right? And I see how that could be, like, because London is more like, oh, well, just like, sorry, the UK is more like, oh, well, I mean, this is happening now, so... we'll find a way to contain it eventually, or oh, it's not that bad, it's gonna get better. So yeah, that's concerning. That's a little concerning, especially when you see Italy, how the whole things are turning out there, and then you come here, and people are just like, strolling about, and they don't really care about the whole thing. I mean, not to start like hysteria or anything. There's no reason to stir that up, but still, they're just more than washing your hands. I mean, I'm pretty sure there must be something that can be done. I understand it's about like avoiding what happened in China with the whole, not having rooms in hospitals or beds. So I know like why they're doing it. It's just I don't agree with how they're doing it. So as a Mexican living here, like people have been asking, stuff like, "Oh, are you okay? Is everything happening okay?" And I cannot really tell you, like, from what it's really odd just saying, "Yeah, I'm fine," but you don't really know because it hasn't really gotten to this point as of today, March the 13th. I mean, at the beginning, I really had no problem. I was like, well, it's just happening. It's gonna be fine. I thought, oh, the fluid's worse. Like there's things that kill more people per year. I had this idea as a Mexican reading articles from Mexico. But now, to be honest with you, I'm feeling a little bit more anxious and worried. I have to be honest. Like it feels closer now. Because, like it's happening in Spain, in Italy. I just heard Norway closed their borders as well. Or at least it's like in lockdown. I was in Norway a couple months ago. So, it feels like, oh, wow, it's happening, right? It's really close. So it's kind of it's like a feeling of dread, but not to the point that you are just crazy about it. It's more like, oh, this is happening. Right, I have to go to work though. So I have to clock in, right? While I'm like, hopefully I don't get infected today. Because apart from my classes, like, which I obviously interact with so many people, it's a university. Like, apart from that, I work in the language center. So obviously we get people all the time there. Plus, that university that I work in is a tourist spot. So we get a lot of tourists, just walking around and everything. And I walk to work every day, back and forth, and I haven't seen them. Like I haven't seen less people on the street, to be honest. If anything, more. And that's it's concerning, but at the same time, you feel a little relieved because if no one's taking it that seriously, there must be a reason, right? I mean, these are Londoners, right? So. Kind of feels reassuring, but at the same time, I feel a lot of people are just being dismissive. Like, it's fine, it's gonna be okay. So as a Mexican living here, I think what the government is doing is logical. It makes sense from a logical perspective, as in, if we just say, oh, right, what, something wrong is happening, and everyone has to go to the hospital and get checked, it's gonna get crowded, right? It's gonna get it's gonna be messy. It's China all over again. Not enough places, not enough rooms. So logically, I understand why that's happening. I just don't agree with it. And then again, I couldn't give you an option. I don't think I know what I would do if I was in charge. So I'm glad I'm not. It must be a tough decision to make. That's what I'm saying. I like to sit on the fence on this one because I don't like to get involved in politics anyway. But we should just camp it out. It's like, okay, let's see what happens. Obviously, that's what we're doing because we don't have any choice on it. So yeah, as I record this, I'm going to work today. I have to go to work, and it feels weird walking into the classroom and students greeting me. Some students asking me, "Hey, teacher, is the coronavirus thing happening? Are we okay?" Because most of them are foreigners, right? Living in London who are learning Spanish. So it feels weird to lie to them. I'm not really lying to them. I'm more like trying to not make them freak out as a teacher. But, and like just saying, yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal for now. Let's wait. Let's see what the NHS says, right? And not being able to express my own feelings about it or my ideas. It's a little jarring. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, we're gonna be fine. Yes, it feels a little weird. But I think that's the role as a professor as well. It's what I would do in Mexico if there was some sort of pandemic as well, which is getting there, by the way. It's getting there in Mexico. It's gonna get there eventually, I think. I might carry it with me when I go back. But yeah, I don't know. It's really just so odd. Like, a lot of things have happened since I was here. Like, Brexit happened during my stay here. The coronavirus thing is happening now. Hopefully this video will be just a time capsule of me being worried about nothing, looking at it in the future and say, oh wow, this is how I reacted to the whole coronavirus thing, and just like listening to it. It's gonna be interesting. It really sucks that the first video in English that I make for this channel has to be something about the coronavirus. I really wanted to talk about, you know, like how I've been doing here, like the cultural shocks I have been having, but it felt odd not to address the elephant in the room. You know, like the whole thing that's happening here in Europe. Me as a channel that's trying to teach English and Spanish, and like me living here in London, where this is about to begin, I think. I mean, it's like, it just felt odd to talk about, oh, Pancake Day, and oh, you know, like St. Patrick's Day, or just London landmarks. It felt weird, felt odd. So I will do that, definitely, but I wanted to start with this, because this is like, you know, in everyone's mind and mouth as of now. I really felt compelled to say something, even if people don't really watch it. Kind of feels good to let it out of my chest, you know, and just probably listen to it in a couple of years, if I don't die. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you later. Bye.